was doing some research on Etsy and I noticed a very interesting new trend starting to kick off. The whole 90s retro vintage trend has been ongoing for quite a while now, but it just made an interesting new development into a brand new product. And weirdly, this product is for kids, but now being used for adults. And this new trend that I'm talking about is Y2K Baby Tees for adults. Like this one here, or this one. We have this hilarious, simple one right here, which is another bestseller right now. In fact, if you go onto Etsy and look up the keyword Y2K Baby Tee, and then I use Everbee here to find out what sales are happening in this keyword, then I can see that some of these listings are making 100 to 200 sales a month with these simple baby tees. And if you take a look at these, most of these, which are our bestsellers, have been listed within the last few months. Okay, but what product are we actually using to create these baby style tees? Well, the answer is we're actually using kids shirts. All of these listings are using the Bella Canvas Youth Shirt, which is a 3000 in Y, or they're using the Gildan version, which is Gildan 5000. This one here, the kids heavy cotton tee. Using Printify, you can sell these, rebrand them as these adult baby tees, and using Printify, when you get an order, Printify will print and ship your product for you, so you don't have to go buy bulk of these products to try to sell them. I noticed this trend because when I was looking through Mockups, I was finding all of these bestsellers were for these shirts that looked really small on the model. But that was really popular in the 90s. With the trend of that 90s, the retro, the vintage coming up, it makes sense that the product would change as well. And because this trend is now starting to kick off, I'm seeing tons of very new mock-ups with this style of this small shirt. It's got kind of a vintagey feel to the photos so that you can really show off your design by using some of these mock-ups. But what exact designs are doing well on these shirts and how can you create them? Let's create one together. And to create a bunch of these designs extremely quickly, we're going to be using Kittl templates. So once we're logged into Kittl, which is its own design platform with like thousands and thousands of different templates, these ones are perfect because Kittl has been tailoring towards the current trends, which has been 90s and Y2K. So if you take a look at their trending searches, you'll even find things like hashtag retro, hashtag Y2K, which you can click in, and then now you have a filter for all their Y2K designs that you can go through, which would work perfect within this niche. So I spent a few minutes going through all of their templates under Y2K and I picked out some that I think would be killer on this style of shirt. And this is the first one here called Impact the World Streetwear T-shirt Design Template. This text-based one I really loved called Keep Dreaming. There was also this template called the Hokkaido Wave T-shirt design. I just really think that the aesthetics to this design would match that baby tee style perfectly. When I was going through the bestsellers in this trend, I also noticed that there was a big crossover between rodeo cowboys and this 90s. So something like this, which was a very like deserty, vintage feel, I think could do really well on these shirts. Then these ones were probably my favorite ones that I could see doing really well, which is this city collection. It's kind of like this vintage looking city where you could just add in like New York, Chicago, any city, and I think it would do really well because it really gives off that retro vintage vibe. I could also see self-love and positivity doing really well on these. So this one I picked out here, which was a self-love t-shirt design template. And the last vintagey vibe niche was this Save the Turtles, Save the Planet type of niche that I could see doing really well on these. I also just thought that this design kind of would go with that shirt really well. This one is called Save the Turtles Blue Vintage C t-shirt design template. I found all of these after just a few minutes of searching on the Kittl templates, so there are tons more that you can go through, customize to be your own, and then use them in a design. But when I was going through all these, some idea really got stuck in my head that I want to share with you guys. In a previous video, I talked about this trend, which was, I don't really know what to call it, but it was like a 90s concert type of shirt that people could customize their photos and change the text. And this was really popular on t-shirts, but I haven't seen it brought over to this new trending product yet. And the two niches, the 90s product and the 90s design, I think would make a killer matchup. Using Kittl, I was able to create my own one of these designs because of their awesome text effects that you can do to be able to make your text look like this and still make it really easy to customize versus because if you were doing this on Photoshop, you would have to redo all the text effects every single time. And if you were doing Canva, you just would not be able to get a result like this because they don't have these types of text effects available. If you'd like to watch the full video on how I made this, I did do this in another video when I was talking about this trend a while ago, which I'll link up here and at the end of this video as well. But if you don't want to go the customization route because it can take a while, let's just go back and focus on some of those 90 vibes designs that we had picked out. And this one is one that just kept calling me back that I think could do really well on these shirts. So I'm going to change it up a bit. I actually really just like the text up here. I don't want all these bottom things. So I'm just going to select them. I don't want the radically. I want this part. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to remove this down here. And I do like keeping the worlds in here. So I'm just going to move it up. Once that's done, I'm also just going to change my artboard to be bigger so that when we print this, it's actually going to be decent enough quality. So to do that, I'm going to click on the name here, and I've actually already changed mine, but your width is going to be smaller. I usually do at least 5,000 by 5,000. So I'm actually going to make this one a little bit bigger to do 5,000 by 5,000. And I'm just going to make it a square right now. And then I'm just going to bring all of this stuff bigger by selecting it all. And then there we go. Now we have the light version of our design, but we need a dark version of our design for when we're printing this on white t-shirts. So to do that, we're going to copy this over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the title, and at the same time, I'm holding Option, and then I'm just dragging this over. There we go. Now we have a copy, but I'm going to change the background color here to a light color t-shirt. And now you can see this is not going to print well. You can't see what it says. So same thing, I'm just going to select everything by dragging my cursor over and just changing the color here. And with this vintage, I actually really like this kind of blue or a red or a dark pink color. For this one, I'm seeing kind of like a blue that I think would do really well. Something like that. And now I have a shirt design that can print both on a black shirt and a white shirt. And we're going to save these by hitting the download button up here. Make sure all artboards are selected. We're going to save it as a PNG. We're going to also make sure the remove background is ticked on. Now coming back into Printify, most of the mockups that I had seen for the Gildan 5000 youth shirt, but you can also use the Bella canvas, but I'm just going to go ahead with the Gildan 5000 here since that's the most one I've seen so far. And scrolling down, I'm going to pick my supplier. I am a SwiftPod fan, so I'm going to go into SwiftPod. I'm going to hit upload my design, and I'm going to bring in my light version of the design. I'm going to resize it just so it fits. The print area is a bit smaller here. And once I'm happy with the placement, I can always use my keyboard to move a bit. I'm also going to hit select variant so I can select some more colors. So I have my black color, and then under black, I'm going to hit make a specific design for black, delete this version, and bring in the white version of our design. Resize that. And then I'm going to hit save product, and you can go through everything and hit publish, which is going to publish this to your Etsy store. Then using Etsy, I bought a mock-up for this shirt, and then just bringing it into Kittl. Here is the mock-up that I've created of my design that I can use for my main Etsy photo. While this is probably something I would not personally buy because I absolutely hate tight t-shirts, this is obviously appealing to many people out there with this rising trend because we can see these sales are really starting to kick off for people who have hopped on this early. So let me know in the comments below if you have any questions and if you're going to be trying this yourself.